All right, I'd like to welcome everybody out tonight. Those of you that don't know me, my name is Greg Patterson. Uh, I've been in the crypto arena for quite some time, and what I'm going to do tonight is just share with you a little bit about about what's going on in cryptocurrency, so that you can get a sense of urgency that you need to understand exactly what's going on. You need to get involved as soon as possible. Uh, this right here is a technology that's changing the world. Right now, we're very excited as to what's taking place. Those of us that are seasoned in this arena are having a great time. It's I don't want to make this about money, but it's a lot of money being made. Most people won't ever see a crypto millionaire because crypto's anonymous. But right now, these millennials, they're they're making so much money, it's ridiculous. So what we want to do is create a platform so that we can share with you the things that we know about cryptocurrency, what cryptocurrency is to buy, why cryptocurrency, why is this so important for your life. So right now, I believe that Bitcoin and cryptocurrency is the most important thing that you need to be interested in right now. That's my own opinion, because it's the largest transference of wealth in the history of mankind. It's taking place today. It's not waiting for you. It's taking place today. There are crypto millionaires and crypto billionaires being born every single day. And so what I'm going to do tonight is kind of show you why Bitcoin, because a lot of times I'll do seminars and I'll have conversations with people, and they'll come away from those conversations and they'll pull me to the side later on and be like, man, that was real interesting what you said, but to be totally honest with you, Greg, I didn't understand nothing that you was talking about. So what we want to do is provide the right information, give you guys a foundation that you can launch from. So there are going to be some people on this call tonight that are crypto experts. I have a lot of those that I talk to, people that are just, they've, since about November of last year, they've become experts in cryptocurrency. So there, but as I do these around the country, I find out that there are more people in the audiences that have no clue what cryptocurrency is. So what I'm going to do tonight is kind of deal with the basics a little bit so that we can have a foundation to build from going forward. Because what we want to do here with Coinducation is build a platform where you can learn and get great information on a weekly basis so that you can build your knowledge about cryptocurrency. So we're going to talk a little bit about Bitcoin tonight. How did I find out about Bitcoin? I got involved in Bitcoin. I found out about it in late 2009, early 2010. I like to tell this story because I talked to a lot of smart people. So they leave and they say, well, hey, man, I understand. Sounds great, but it's just not for me. And I'll say, well, hey, great, man. I used to be the same way. When I first heard about cryptocurrency, I took the same exact stance because there were some guys back in late 2009, early 2010. I'm not sure exactly when it was, but they came to me and said, Greg, you need to take a look at Bitcoin. So I said, well, what is it? They said, well, I'm going to shoot you over a white paper and let you read it. So they emailed me the white paper. I read it. And these were some guys that worked for me. So they used to play World of Warcraft at work. So what they would do is they would buy and sell, armature and guns and weapons and men and all the different things that they used in their game. They would go on the dark web and they would sell this stuff between each other on their games. I wasn't a gamer, so I didn't really see a use case for me being involved in Bitcoin because number one, at that time, no one knew about it. Number two, I didn't believe that the government would allow somebody to come in and make another currency. I just didn't believe that was going to happen. But now I'm of a different mindset. So make a long story short, when I was introduced to Bitcoin, it was worth pennies. If I had to spend $1,000 on Bitcoin in 2010, I'd be worth over $100 million today. So when I sit back and I look at that, now I followed Bitcoin for years. When Bitcoin hit $1,000 for the first time in 2015, when it hit $1,000, I told my wife, I said, you know what? This Bitcoin thing is real. She said, well, how much of it did you buy? I said, well, I didn't buy any. She said, I'm sure you bought some because you talked about it for so long and you've been talking about it for years. So I'm sure you bought some. I said, no, I never did. She said, yeah, I believe you did. Go back on your computer and check. But I didn't because I was so smart. So I watched Bitcoin for years. I watched it go to 10 cents. I watched it go to $10. I watched it when it hit its highest point at $32. When it hit $32, I was like, okay, I think I'm gonna go ahead and buy some. It was on the dark web. Nobody in the real world knew about it. It hit $32. And I said, okay, I'm gonna go ahead and purchase some. Then about a week later, it was back down to $2. And I was like, oh, no. See, I knew it wasn't real. I knew it wasn't going to work. So I just kept watching it. It hit $100. And I'm like, oh, wow, this thing is real. Then it would drop back down to $10. Then it went up and it hit, hold on, guys, my dogs are barking, interrupted by dogs. So what I watched Bitcoin, basically, make a long story short, I watched it go from basically nothing. And when it hit $1,000, I said, you know, I need to really position myself and my family to capitalize off what's going on with this cryptocurrency, when really the masses never knew anything about it. So I did that. And so what I'm gonna do tonight and what I want to do over time is kind of share with you guys my experience, what's taking place in my life, it's changed my life, and how it can change your life. Now, cryptocurrency, when I talk to people about it, it's kind of difficult for people to wrap their minds around because people are so used to spending fiat currency. People are so used to spending dollar bills. So I go into meetings and I'll explain everything to people, and they'll come out of that and they'll say, well, great, that sounds great, but one question, how do I spend it? How do I get money from it? What you don't realize is it is money. And so that's what I'm going to explain tonight. So give me just a moment. I want to switch gears real quick. I'm going to share my screen, so bear with me one moment. All right, so what I want to do is talk about what is Bitcoin. We're going to do an introduction to Bitcoin. So Bitcoin is the world's first digital currency. It's decentralized. It's not controlled by any government or institution. So what does that mean? That means, first, the decentralization of Bitcoin is the big part. Let me explain to people what decentralization means. Kind of put it in layman's terms so people can really understand it. If you understand file sharing and people who go on what's called the BitTorrent and file share, they call it piracy. It's illegal. But the way that started, I don't know if you guys are familiar with a program called Napster. Napster started years ago. And what Napster would do, they would take all of this music, books, software, and they would store it on servers. And then you could go on and illegally download people's music and software and books and basically anything you wanted. So it was a very popular service, but it was centralized. It was all in one location. They had all of the information stored on servers in one location. So when the government found out where those servers were, they went and shut that facility down. So that same community re-geared and came up with something called BitTorrent. BitTorrent, what that does is it's decentralized. So BitTorrent is hosted on millions of computers around the world. And so what happens is if you're looking for a song or you're looking for some software or a book or something, you can go on the BitTorrent and it'll find it on somebody's computer around the world. So the actual BitTorrent is decentralized. It doesn't hold any information. There's no one place you can go and shut it down. So that same concept is where Bitcoin came from the BitTorrent concept. So now you have Bitcoin. Bitcoin's decentralized. It's hosted on millions of computers around the world. It's a computer algorithm that computers around the world validate minute by minute, minute by minute. They validate that these transactions are valid. Bitcoin is sent using the internet directly from person to person with no third party. That's powerful because right now, anytime you make any transaction with money, there's a third party involved. There's a bank involved. If you want to send money overseas, what do you have to do? You have to use Western Union, MoneyGram, and they're going to charge you some absorbent fees. See, this is the thing about digital currency. Digital currency, you've already been digitized, but most people don't know it. Right now, about 93% of the American dollar is digital. It's only ones and zeros. Only 7% of the amount of dollars that they say exists, only 7% of that exists physically. So the physical money you see is not the money that you spend. When you get paid on Friday, they're going to drop ones and zeros in your bank account. Soon as you go to the store, you go to Walmart, you swipe your credit card, you put your PIN in, boom, you're going to transfer ones and zeros to Walmart. You've already been digitized. So now we've got digital money. It's the money of the internet. It's bigger than the internet, actually. This is Web 3.0. This is going to be huger than the internet. But right now, you have the ability to learn exactly what's going on with this technology before it gets so big. I don't know if you guys remember, I said previously, there's a difference between the people who own money and the people who use money. Most of us are users of money. I call us go-betweens. You get the money and the money goes between you and whoever you got to pay. Every week when you get paid, you got 10 people to pay. Now, I'm a business owner, so I understand that there's people strategically located all over the city that are waiting for you to drop off money with them. So I strategically located myself so people can drop off money with me. Now, every individual participates in digital currency today. You just don't realize it. So it's person to person. Just like if I were to give somebody standing in my presence $100, if I gave him $100, the only person that knows I gave him that $100 is me and him. So guess what that means? I'm not telling you not to report on your taxes, but if I gave my brother $100, the IRS don't know he made $100 from me. So therefore he didn't have to report it. So it's person to person. There's no third parties involved. The only people that know about these, they're anonymous. The only people that know about these transactions are the people who do them. It's safe. It's a fast way to send money. Right now, if you wanted to send money overseas using Western Union or MoneyGram, it costs you absorbent fees and it take a couple of days. And all they're doing is sending ones and zeros to the other country. If you wanted to send money to Africa or India or any place, they're going to charge you, and it's going to take time. Right now, we're holding a live video call free across the world, instantaneously for free. Why come we can't do money that way? Now we can with digital currency. With cryptocurrency, you're able to send money instantaneously, fast, safe, and anonymous with little to no fees. Anybody can set up a Bitcoin account. Why is this so important? Because there's 6 billion people on this planet. 2 billion of those people don't have access to banking. 2 billion don't have access to banking. So what does that mean? Now that they have access to digital currency, they're able to come into the fold. Now they're in the marketplace and you can trade trade goods and services with them. So now that's 2 billion new people that you can do business with. This is huge. You really have to wrap your mind around what that really means. This is huge. Now, instead of being able to do business locally in your area, you can do business instantaneously around the world using cryptocurrency. There's minimal fees, no chargebacks, and no borders. That's huge. No borders. So now I can be right here in Atlanta, Georgia, and I can send somebody some money on the other side of the world, and it'll happen instantaneously, and it won't cost me anything, as long as they have a Bitcoin wallet on their phone. So people say, well, Greg, that's great. But if I get this thing called Bitcoin or this thing called cryptocurrency, how am I going to use it? Well, there's over 400,000 businesses right now that use Bitcoin, that take Bitcoin. I own my own business. I'm setting my business up to take Bitcoin also. Why would I take Bitcoin over the American dollar? Well, economists believe, and I'll show you going forward, economists believe that Bitcoin is going to be worth $1 million one day. The dollar that we have since its inception is down 94%. So now that's a depreciating asset. And you can get into cryptocurrency, which is growing in value on a daily basis. So for goods and services, I'd rather take cryptocurrency for my goods and services over the US dollar. But who uses it? Overstock.com. You can shop on overstock.com and use cryptocurrency. Cheapair.com. You can get flights around the world on cheapair.com with Bitcoin right now today. If you got Bitcoin, you can fly around the world with your Bitcoin. Expedia, hotels around the world. The Dallas Mavericks, Mark Cuban, he takes Bitcoin at his box office. When you walk up to the box office at the American Airlines Arena in Dallas, you can spend Bitcoin at that box office because he's a smart man. He understands that Bitcoin is growing in value. Now what's he going to do? He's going to take, instead of taking the American dollar for his seat and his popcorn, his hot dogs, he's going to take Bitcoin and park that money over to the side and watch it grow over time. So I'll explain to you more about how Bitcoin grows and how we get the value of Bitcoin. But when you take a snapshot today of who uses Bitcoin and come back about 6 to 8 months later and take another snapshot, you'll see it's growing astronomically on a daily basis. Who wants this store of value? So you got to get your hands on some for you and your family so that you can participate in this new way we spend money. Because if you don't get in now and learn how to use Bitcoin and learn how to manipulate this ecosystem, you're going to be a user of Bitcoin later. You're not going to be an owner of it. You're going to be a user of it later, because 10 years from now, somebody's going to pay you on your job with Bitcoin, and then you're going to have enough Bitcoin to go and pay your rent, pay your car note, just like you do now. Pay your car note and go out on Friday and watch a movie and go back to work on Monday. That's everybody's life. So right now you have the opportunity to capitalize and get Bitcoin for yourself. So it's an amazing opportunity. So don't let any of the naysayers or people who don't really understand what's going on in this ecosystem try to explain this to you. Listen to people who actually own Bitcoin so that they can explain to you how powerful it's been in their lives. Now, you've got people, I don't know if you guys are familiar with the Winklevoss twins. The Winklevoss twins were the guys who helped start Facebook. The Winklevoss twins say Facebook was their idea. Mark Zuckerberg stole it from them. So they sued Mark Zuckerberg, I think, for like $16 million or something like that. And when they won the suit, they took $11 million of the money that they got and they invested it in cryptocurrency. Last November, when Bitcoin hit $10,000, the Winklevoss twins became the first Bitcoin billionaires. So you have to understand there's billionaires being created and millionaires on a daily basis of people, regular people just like yourselves. So What if you knew? What if you had the opportunity to know what billionaires are saying about Bitcoin? Not what a Joe Blow in the next cubicle is saying, but what billionaires have to say about what they're doing with their portfolio and cryptocurrency. Would that be something you'd be interested in listening to? So take a look at this, and I'm going to show you what billionaires have to say.
Bitcoin and things like it is the equivalent of the red. Okay? We are entering a completely world of uncharted water.
Have you made any investments in Bitcoin?
So, I mean, I personally own Bitcoin in my hedge fund. I own Bitcoin in my fund. I own Bitcoin in my private account. It is a huge deal. It's a huge, huge, huge deal. Because what you're talking about right now is for the next 3 to 5 years, an unbelievably better store of value. It is gold 2.0.
I think this is a currency that's really going to work eventually.
Well, I think it is working, and there will be other currencies like it that may be even better. But in the meantime, there's a big industry around Bitcoin, and people have made fortunes out of Bitcoin.
Bitcoin, there is no Bitcoin company, there is no Bitcoin building, there's not even a Bitcoin server anywhere that you could shut down. It is completely distributed. That's what's unique about Bitcoin. It is, for the first time, a way for the two of us to exchange value online without a third-party intermediary. Until the invention of Bitcoin, for you and me to exchange money online, we had to employ a third party, like PayPal, like Visa, like MasterCard, right? And we live in the 21st century. If we want to have a video call to China, we can do that for free. But to send a couple $100, which is essentially just ones and zeros being moved around, costs 5% plus takes over a day.
Well, Bitcoin is exciting because it shows how cheap it can be. Bitcoin is better than currency in it. You don't have to be physically in the same place. And of course, for large transactions, currency can get pretty inconvenient.
You'll see Bitcoin trading at 1,000, 2,000, 5,000, 10,000. Rick Fockpenia does an excellent analysis. He predicts that Bitcoin will capture between 1 and 10% of the global Forex market, which implies a price of between $100,000 to $1 million per Bitcoin. Most of the people who are on the sidelines not buying Bitcoin today will start to buy Bitcoin when it gets over 1,000. And then a greater percentage of people will definitely plow into Bitcoin when it starts to get over 10,000.
Still predicting Bitcoin, $10,000 per Bitcoin in 3 years.
Suarez, he is the CEO of Zappo, which is a Bitcoin wallet and Bitcoin vault.
I think it's mostly a very positive thing. I think we're going to see ups and downs like with any other emerging technology, but I think Bitcoin is here to stay, and it makes sense that it be taxed and treated like any other.
So let's take a bold call here. In 10 years, what do you think Bitcoin will be worth? One Bitcoin.
Between $500,000 and $1 million.
A lot of people are just seeing the charts and thinking how high it'll go. What I'm doing is counting backwards. I mean, this is a transactional currency, and it is a store of value. As such, it is a product and a service competing on a very tangible market for stores of value and for transactional currencies. So what is the size of that market, right?
And this is important.
And how big a market share can Bitcoin realistically take within a foreseeable time frame? When you ask that question, then you come up with a market cap of Bitcoin total, and then you divide that by the number of Bitcoin in circulation by your estimated time, and seeing how Chinese are buying Bitcoin like crazy. Actually, I have to adjust this number upwards, but then you come up with a number of about $2 to $5 million per Bitcoin.
I suggest that everyone go back to buy one Bitcoin. Not too much, only one is enough. If everyone is worth people just to go back by one Bitcoin, the Bitcoin value go to the $1 million. And when the Bitcoin have $1 million, all around the world will be crazy, and everyone will be the follow, and the other digital currency just to be grandson of the Bitcoin. So for me, I think for a lot of people, they don't exactly understand why Bitcoin.
Is Bitcoin the currency of the future, or is it the payment system they're developing?
Bingo, it's the payment system. It's the blockchain encryption, and there are interesting things. I think Bitcoin, or
really blockchain encryption that's behind it, has a greater ability to bring more of the world's population out of poverty than anything we've seen.
If you're new to Bitcoin, take your time, go out there and Google it and learn about it. It truly is one of the most important inventions in the history of humankind, and certainly the most important invention since the internet. Go out there, make a Bitcoin wallet, get involved, start using it, learn about all the positive ways in which this is going to improve the lives of every single person on the planet. Get involved, do it today. It's going to help everybody. Thank you.
Bitcoin and things like it.
Now, billionaires say that Bitcoin is going to be somewhere between $500,000 and $5 million per Bitcoin. Right now, Bitcoin's somewhere a little north of $8,000 a coin. Understand the magnitude of what I just said. Billionaires just said it's going to be somewhere between $500,000 a coin to $5 million a coin. Right now, it's at $8,000. So if you put your hands on a Bitcoin today, one Bitcoin, it's the best place to store your money on the planet, right? It's the best investment on the planet right now. What people don't realize is since the stock market crashed in 2008, cryptocurrency has been the biggest investment on the planet that nobody talks about. You know, the reason why nobody talks about it is because all of the hedge fund guys and all of the big investment guys on Wall Street are not involved. It came to the retail investor first. It gave the opportunity to someone like myself and someone like you to capitalize off of it first. But what we're going to go into in the near future is I'm going to show you how this Bitcoin ETF that's about to take place is going to bring hundreds of billions of dollars from the hedge fund guys that manage all of these portfolios. They're going to be able to come into this arena and buy Bitcoin now that they come up with this Bitcoin ETF. This has not taken place yet. This is about to take place. Right now, we believe somewhere between September and the first of the year, this Bitcoin ETF is going to take place. When that Bitcoin ETF take place, the price of Bitcoin is going to shoot through the roof. And you say, well, Greg, why is that? Because Bitcoin, there's only going to be 21 million Bitcoins ever created. Right now, we're at about 17 million Bitcoins. There's only like 4 million Bitcoins left to be created. So there's only a finite amount of Bitcoin ever to exist. So when you start bringing hundreds of billions of dollars of investment money from the big guys trying to get Bitcoin, guess what? There's a scarcity. Now it's supply and demand. So right now there's not enough Bitcoin for everybody to buy some. So I advise you and your family to get as much Bitcoin as you can get your hands on and as much cryptocurrency as you can get your hands on today. We might come back and revisit this 5 years from now, and this won't be the same opportunity. It won't be the same opportunity 5 years from now. What I'm sharing with you, you have to take a sense of urgency. And so what we're going to do here with this Coinducation platform is provide you access to this information so that you can get equipped. Because so many people out here are falling for all of these scams. Whenever you have something this big that's happening in the world, you got a bunch of scavengers that latch on to it. So right now out here, about 95% of all of the opportunities that you see that are referring to cryptocurrency are scams. So what we want to do is separate. There's a couple of ways to make Bitcoin. You can buy it and hold it. Right now, if you buy a Bitcoin, it's worth about $8,200. Guess what? You can spend $8,200, buy one Bitcoin. 10 years from now, that Bitcoin's worth $1 million to $5 million per coin. It's the greatest investment of your lifetime. So what we're going to show you how to do is trade Bitcoins. So you're going to be able to buy Bitcoins. And when Bitcoin's high, you're going to make money. Then when Bitcoin drops, altcoins are high. When altcoins get high, you move that money out of Bitcoin into altcoins and then get that growth off the altcoins. Now, when you get the growth off the altcoins, you had one Bitcoin, you moved that into altcoins, then you made that money. Then when that grew, now you got 5 Bitcoins. You move that money back into Bitcoin. And as that money grows in Bitcoin, then when it starts to drop again, you move it back into altcoins. Now you got 10 Bitcoins. So you took one Bitcoin and turned it into 10 Bitcoins. That's what we're going to show you how to do. Take one Bitcoin, turn it into 10. So now when Bitcoin hits $1 million a coin, guess what? You got 10 of them. I don't understand what other investment in your portfolio is performing like this. So you need to really take a close look at what we're doing. But let me show you the way Bitcoin is created and what's so important about the technology behind Bitcoin. It's called a blockchain. Now, what happens with Bitcoin is every 10 minutes, brand new Bitcoin are minted, just like the U.S. Mint were to print off new dollars. Every 10 minutes, brand new Bitcoin is minted and brought to market. And so what happens is Satoshi Nakamoto created Bitcoin back in 2009. Satoshi Nakamoto, we don't know if that's a guy, it's a girl, it's a group. He's anonymous. It's anonymous. They're anonymous. So we don't know who it is. This whole thing is anonymous. So when it was introduced, an incentive for people to run this program on their computers to be able to support the network, they were giving away 50 Bitcoin every 10 minutes. Every 10 minutes, they gave away 50 Bitcoin. So for the first 210,000 blocks. So what happens is all of the transactions from all around the world, from all of the Bitcoin transactions, every 10 minutes go into what's called a block. After the 10 minutes, that block gets validated by all of the computers saying, yeah, all of the transactions are valid, and it gets moved into the chain. And once that block gets moved into the chain, it's permanent. It's a permanent record out in cyberspace. So for the first 210,000 blocks, they were giving away 50 Bitcoins every 10 minutes. That was about 7,200 Bitcoins a day. That's about 4 years. The next 210,000 blocks, it halved. Then they were giving away 25 Bitcoins every 10 minutes. Every 10 minutes, when people validated the block, whatever computer validated the block would get rewarded 25 Bitcoins. Now, that particular computer would be able to distribute those Bitcoins out into the ecosystem so we could purchase them and buy them and trade them and do whatever we want to do with them. Then that was 3,600 Bitcoins a day. Right now, we're on the third halving. So right now, we get 12.5 Bitcoin, brand new Bitcoin released into the market every 10 minutes. That's about 1,800 Bitcoins a day up for grabs. Now, this is not only Bitcoin. These are other cryptocurrencies that you mine. They're Ethereum, Bitcoin Cash. There's tons of different cryptocurrencies that are mined and brought to market every single day, but there's only a finite amount of them. So that means supply and demand. May the 22nd, 2010, a guy ordered a couple of pizzas from Papa John. He ordered 2 large pizzas from Papa John's. Now, when he ordered those 2 large pizzas from Papa John's, when he got there, he told the guy, I don't have $25 to pay for the pizzas. I'll give you 10,000 Bitcoins. Well, you have to understand, back in May 22nd of 2010, Bitcoin was worth nothing. So he gave him 10,000 Bitcoins for 2 pizzas. When Bitcoin hit $10,000 in November of 2017, that transaction was worth over $100 million. Somebody made $100 million in your lifetime off of 2 large pizzas. Now, if that's happening in my lifetime, I need to know how that works. I need to be an expert on that. I need to go to school and get a PhD in that. If somebody turned 2 large pizzas into $100 million, why come everybody doesn't know how this works? Well, let me explain to you the value of Bitcoin. You have $1. $1 can be broke down into 100 pieces. They're called pennies. A Bitcoin is 1 Bitcoin. It can be broke down into 100 million pieces. They're called Satoshis. Now, if 100 million Satoshis was worth 1 penny per Satoshi, then you see where you get your $1 million valuation for a Bitcoin. When Satoshis are worth 1 penny, one Bitcoin is worth $1 million. So this is not far-fetched when you actually understand it and take a look at what's really going on. So what I wanted to do tonight was just kind of set a foundation. But I'm going to leave it up to you. You're going to have to do your own research. This is not something that's going to come easy to you. You're going to actually have to spend some time. If I were you, I'm not you, but if I were you, I'd take the next week and spend my whole life trying to figure out how to position myself in this ecosystem. Now, what we're going to do as a group is we're going to show you. We're not going to tell you what coins to buy. We're going to show you which coins we buy. We're going to show you which coins we sell, why we're selling them, and when we're selling them. We're not going to tell you when to buy them or when to sell them. We're just going to tell you when we buy them and when we sell them. Hint, hint, clue, clue. So understand this system that Mr. Medina has put into place is over the top. This is probably some of the best knowledge that you're going to actually gain at this point in your life. I'm not saying that from just don't take me wrong. I'm sharing this from my heart because I'm invested. I'm invested. So whether you hear me or you don't, I'm invested. So when Bitcoin hits $1 million, I'm invested. So we're going to show you how you can get invested. So what we're going to do tonight, I'm going to go ahead and cut this short. We already been a little bit over 30 minutes, but I wanted to do this one thing real quick. Everything that happens on the blockchain is public information, and everything on the blockchain is anonymous. So this particular transaction on May 22nd, 2010, May the 22nd is considered to be Bitcoin Pizza Day. That's what they call it, because that day was the first Bitcoin transaction that ever took place. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take you to the blockchain and show you that transaction and what happened on that day. So when you come here, you go to blockchain.com. You can go and look up any transaction that happens on the blockchain. Right now, that particular transaction for 10,000 Bitcoins, if you look right here, shows you 10,000 Bitcoins. It happened May the 22nd. If you look, May the 23rd, that guy took them 10,000 Bitcoins and he moved them into probably some cold storage or another wallet. He moved them 10,000 Bitcoins. Now watch this. Right now, those 10,000 Bitcoins is worth about $84 million. When Bitcoin was at 10,000, it was worth $100 million. When Bitcoin hit 20,000 in December, it was worth $200 million. So can you imagine if you could get Bitcoins today for $8,200 or whatever Bitcoin is, and one day they'll be worth $250,000 a coin, $500,000 a coin, $1 million a coin. Watch this. The returns are astronomical. But what we're going to show you going forward is the returns are even greater in some of these altcoins. Some of these altcoins have tenfold returns. But right now there's over 1,500 altcoins. So the problem with most people is knowing which ones to buy, which ones are scams, which ones to actually invest your money into. So as you follow this group, you'll be able to identify those things. So again, my name is Greg Patterson. I hope you guys got a little bit out of what I had to share tonight. We're going to share a lot more in this community. But what I would like to say is you need to get involved with Coinducation. Get this education. This is what we're providing. We're providing education. We're going to show you how to multiply your money. This is what we're going to show you how to do. But you have to get the foundation. We can't give it to you. You have to get it for yourself. This is probably the best education you're going to get in your lifetime. And that's what we're here to do. So again, my name is Greg Patterson. I'll see you guys at the top or from the top. Thank you.